Every time there is a gunshot wound here in the Bull City, it doesn't just tear into the body of the wounded. It tears into their family, into their neighborhood, and into our entire community. We are one community, one body, and the loss of life, the loss of a life, especially a young life, is a tragedy for all of us. We are not separate. We are not insulated. Every child is a child of Durham, and we must do everything in our power to assure that we never lose another one. We have had a very tough few months of gun violence in Durham, you know that. And in this regard, we're part of a national trend. While some categories of crime are down during the pandemic, nationally we have seen a large increase in gun violence and shootings and homicides, and there is no doubt that the pandemic is playing a role in this. The coronavirus has caused isolation and economic dislocation on a mass scale, and the worst effects have fallen on our economically disadvantaged communities and communities of color. In addition, across the nation, gun sales have surged in recent months. There are now 393 million guns in America, far more than the number of people who live in our country. As long as guns are available in these quantities, and as long as they are easily available to almost anyone who wants a gun, we are not going to be able to end gun violence in this country. And that is a hard truth which everybody needs to hear. Our police force is actively engaged every single day in finding the perpetrators of violence and getting them off our streets, and they have my full support and the support of our community in this work. So now I want to change gears a moment, because here is what we know, and this is very important. Policing itself, even excellent policing, which we have, is not nearly enough. The police cannot do this alone. Besides policing, what else are we doing, and what else do we need to do? Second is providing other community resources, violence interrupters, youth programming, after school and during the summers, mental health services, drug treatment and education, non-police mobile responses to crises that will keep our community safe. Third is legislative action, especially on cash bail and common sense gun laws. And fourth is attacking the root causes of violence. If a person has a good job at a good wage, affordable health care, a good school for their child to go to, and a safe, warm, affordable home where they can lay their head every night, they're not going to be committing gun violence. They're not going to be dealing drugs or joining gangs or shooting anyone.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor Schewel. Mayor Schewel has covered much of what I have prepared to say, so I will not be redundant, but I think one of the prevailing factors in what we are talking about today remains that we can't do this by ourselves. We are just one cog in the wheel. We would love to see the police department be put out of business, but we are very busy these days. We would love to see our citizens live in environments that aren't stricken by gunfire at night, and where our young people aren't having to participate in exercises of jumping in bathtubs and ducking whenever they hear gunfire in their communities. No one should live under those circumstances. But every time we see another individual, particularly a young person, a victim of a violent crime, whether they were involved in gang activity or not, that is still someone's child who has fallen at the hands of gun violence.